ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Vodafone, The Road to Odense, Betway, MSI, Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA. Vodafone presents the pre-match.
And that's right, it is the road to Odense, but of course the road has begun in the group finals here for 2018. My name is Asterix, I'm joined by Brainstorm, and this is the ESL Pro League. Jumping back into it on the B stream for day number 2. And Brainstorm, we started, or at least ended yesterday, you and me personally, with Order almost upsetting Na'Vi, and I'm hoping to start similar today.
Of course, we are covering a Na'Vi game, an Order game.
We're
starting off strong.
Almost
Order up first, and they did have a good game against Na'Vi yesterday. They started off up 10-1, and then things did slip away from them a bit. Both teams putting on stellar T-sides on Mirage. I'm pretty sure it was 10, 11 rounds, one on both sides by T-sides. It was 10 for Order and 11 for Na'Vi.
Well, Na'Vi just took it straight, but yesterday, just to interject there, was such a, I guess, dominant performance to start things off when we're looking at the Astralis coming through against Vici, when we're looking at the big coming over the top of these other teams. Now today we're looking for those similar performances. We're moving into the best of threes, which we started. Technically it was in the morning for us, but
in the afternoon.
In the
Denmark
afternoon
time.
For you guys in Denmark or anywhere else that is Australia or around the world. But the ESL Pro League continues here today, and of course, that is our schedule. We've got some pretty interesting matchups coming through, Tim, as well.
We do indeed on the B stream. That is us on the left-hand side of your screen, aka the cool stream. That's not
Can
official,
I just say, I mean, like,
hey, yeah.
Why wouldn't you be watching the B stream here? Like, it's great, you know, go over to MIBR and NRG. I reckon that'll be a great game.
Mouse and Na'Vi, I think, will also be really good.
Yeah, but Renegades and Big, why not?
And more importantly, Order versus Ghost.
I'd sell it.
Why not? No such thing as overselling, mate. But yeah, the games we're looking at for today will be Order, Ghost, and Renegades Big, as you mentioned, Hellraisers G2. Over on the A stream, they're starting off with North taking on Sharks, MIBR, NRG, and then Maus, Na'Vi to finish off. Now, I'm not going to go through all of them because I will get it wrong off the top of my head, but it's worth noting that at least some of these games, if not all of them, are elimination. We're playing a double elim bracket here, so the losers of some of these best of threes will be going home.
Ours, at least our first two, especially with Renegades taking the loss early, or at least this morning, sorry, with time zones, yesterday afternoon for you guys over in Denmark. Today is that elimination game again for Renegades. It's the elimination game for Order. Moving into the best of threes, there's a lot more opportunity with the format change, but again, that road to Odense, the road to the finals, could come very short.
It could, but there's quite a long way to go for all of these teams. Looking back at the groups really quickly, this is where we currently stand. We're having a look at a couple games out of Group A, a couple games out of Group B, and some combinations of both, really, as now we're starting to mix it up. But our first game, of course, is Order taking on Ghost, which is quite an interesting one, I think. We've got a North American team going up against the Order guys, which obviously, as Australians, we're quite familiar with them. We've watched them play quite a bit, but we've also seen a fair bit of Ghost play, and I think this is going to be a very good matchup.
And at the moment, especially when I think some teams aren't performing as expected. We expected Astralis probably to be the 2-0 team that just walks all their way to the finals and maybe in top 4 faces a bit more of a challenge. But at the moment, they dropped their first game yesterday, and the best of threes testing even them, even though they found a win off the back 2-1. Some people going like, oh, it was one game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of both, right? Because, sure, on one hand, they did lose a map to Hellraisers, but we also tend to see this a lot from teams like Astralis, in that they might have a slower start to the tournament, and they'll warm through it and just destroy everyone later on. Of course, we don't know what they'll destroy everyone later on because we're not there yet. But nonetheless, Hellraiser took the first map 16-8, and then I think Astralis won the last two 16-11, 16-4. So they closed out strong.
Yeah, so at least they got there. But we're walking away from Astralis because they, of course, will be going forward in the upper bracket. We are starting in the lower bracket here today, and we're starting with Ghost taking on Order. Now, these two teams, unfortunately, have been knocked into this position. But if anyone doesn't know, Order almost clutched it through on Mirage. Yesterday was an ordeal Timothy Dunn.
It was,
if I may say.
Was a rough one. It was very, very close for Order, and it was a bit of a heartbreaker for all the Order fans out there. And I think equally stressful for Na'Vi fans really watching that game. And Ghost, unfortunately for them, didn't have as close of a start to things. They lost 16-5 up against Mouse, which is pretty rough for them, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Mouse, of course, are a world-class team, but if I was going to predict it at the start of the day, I maybe would have said more than 5 rounds out of Ghost. But regardless, it is what it is. I'm not going to let that single best of one really taint too much of my opinion of them. I think they're certainly still a strong team, and they're going to be a tough fight for Order. But nonetheless, Order, like a lot of the other teams, have been over there for the last week in Denmark doing some boot camping. And they've been playing against a bunch of the other teams. They've been getting some scrims in, which is a very good thing for them. Very important. Normally, when we're chilling out over here in Australia playing Australian teams, it's a very different style and, of course, level of Counter-Strike to what the European and North American teams play.
Yeah, you don't normally get that experience there, Tim. And for a team like Ghost, I mean, they have that experience. They're in the midst of it. They're in the midst of Counter-Strike territory, you call it. And for someone like Steel and his journey so far to Odense, here's what he had to say.
I don't think there's ever a point where I said Counter-Strike's not a thing I want to do. Like, despite any hardships that you'll go through with one team not working out, or players not working out on a team, or failing at an event, or anything else, I think that competition is something that's like deep-rooted in me. So I feel like Counter-Strike, I guess, scratches that itch the best out of any other game I've played, or more than any other competition I've played. I think Neptune's kind of like an anomaly when it comes to younger players. With someone 16 years old, you're going to expect someone that's like immature. But for Neptune, he's like a 24-year-old in terms of maturity, even though he's 16 years old. So he never gives like any issue when it comes to like attitude or pushback or anything. You tell him something, you give him like feedback, he's just gonna like listen to the message and be like, okay, and then he'll work on it, and you'll see within like the next week or two, you can see him like applying it. I think that's like a really cool thing that I think a lot of other 16-year-olds wouldn't do. I think there's a lot of things that I see that I don't think is good enough. And this has actually become like kind of a meme on the team now, because like if we do something wrong, then they'll say like NGE or not good enough, because they know that I'm gonna say it. I really feel like we should be trying to get to as close to perfect as possible, and I feel like whatever we're doing in the moment, especially like the last few weeks, it just hasn't been good enough. What would make me happy would be that there's like clear progress that's being made. So even if we lose here, but we lose with our heads up high, because we know that we put in 100% effort, and we didn't lose because we did the same mistakes that cost us other events. We learned from those, we fixed them, we progressed, and the other teams are just simply better today. And we could see that we made progress and there's something to be proud about. That would make me happy.
Definitely a very good mentality for Steel to have walking forward into the ESL Pro League once again. But for Steel, at the start, he was talking about the transition of Neptune coming in, 16 years old, and a great mentality that I guess Ghost Gaming have at the moment. Yeah, and that's something that their whole team share. It's something that Steel, in a lot of interviews across his entire career, has always been something that he's really pushed for, is that he doesn't want to just, make a roster change and then win immediately. He doesn't want to just have that mentality where it's like, yeah, we're going to pick up this incredibly sharp young gun, but if we don't win, he's gone. He's much more of the longer developmental cycle, where it's like he said there, if they lose here, but they did some things better than they did last time, okay, they'll be happy, which is really important, because if you have the mentality that, oh, we need to win every event or get top 4, 6, 8, whatever, every single event, there'll be events where it doesn't happen. Maybe you have an off day, maybe your opponent is on some incredibly hot form. You can't expect, I mean, even if you're Australis, you still can't expect to win every single event, because while they've had a really good form over the last 12 months, they still haven't won everything, right? So it's a really good idea, or a really good mentality to have, that you're thinking, all right, as long as we do better this event, even if the results don't show it, if we can think to ourselves, right, we got, say, 16-5 yesterday, but the 5 rounds we won, we did this really well. And the same thing today, if they go out to Order, as long as they're sitting there and going, yep, well, the rounds that we won, we played really well, and the rounds that we lost, we know what to work on.
it's I think it's a healthier attitude towards the game.
It definitely is, and for someone like Steele, working towards Neptune, I think Neptune that he goes, okay, that's fine. He has a mentality of Steele quoting him saying a 24-year-old is absolutely fantastic. When you have these younger players, you're looking towards growth rather than performance. But on the other side, we look at Order and well known as Melbourne Order in Australia. And Order are a team as well who have had similar mentality in the past. But we take another look at Order's mentality going into Odense.
Events like this are very important for us. To attend these events is pretty much everything that we're striving for. We're super happy to be here. Jet lag's obviously a massive factor, so we always try and come for a boot camp. Even if it's not like a full week, we like to come a couple of days earlier so we can sort of adjust to the time, because yeah, it's a big adjustment pretty much anywhere in the world we go to. I think the regions are totally different. Our region's certainly weaker than Europe or North America. So we'll play versus Australian teams and we'll do things that work and we think they're good, and then we come here and only now like our flaws revealed. It really helps us sort of adjust our mistakes and see the holes that we can't see domestically. So we've been boot camping for a week in Odense, but we were pretty comfortable versus all of the other teams except Australis and MRBR. So Australis and MRBR just blew us out of the water. We couldn't really touch them in practice. They've sort of built a library of reactions and it's very hard to take them off guard. Australis have been losing some games. Perhaps they're slipping a little bit, or people have started to really look into how they play. But I think to topple those teams is a hard ask for anyone. I think it'd be naive to say we're not an underdog. We're absolutely an underdog. We've been preparing a lot for our first matchup versus Na'Vi, and we're probably as confident as we can be coming against like the second best team in the world. So if we can play as a team, that's where we're going to succeed. But if we get in individual aim battles with Simple or Nico, it's going to be bad. We try and move away from individual skill as much as we can and compensate for it with strategy. Our players, we have a pretty new lineup and some quite young players, but it's just going to be ironed out over time, and we do have some strong players. Alistair has moved to the AWP and he's been performing really well. Inns is obviously a very strong player as well, so I think all of our players can perform. It's just a matter of on the day, just turning up and performing.
Emag, of course, thinking that he can actually perform on the day, but calling himself an underdog there, Tim. He was quite modest, quite humble, and looking forward to the tournament, but still going in with realistic expectations.
Which is really important for a team like Order, right? You're coming from Australia, and as he says, part of the reason they wanted to do that boot camp was to, in his words, expose the holes that Australian Counter-Strike wouldn't, which is, I remember throwing back to IEM, the first IEM in Sydney that we had in 2017. Yep. I think it was an interview that Tux gave afterwards where he was talking about playing against Australis, and he goes, yeah, it's great, you shoulder pick them and they one dig you, and you try and throw a flash and then they one dig you, and it's every single time that you overextend even a little bit, you just get destroyed. And that's a pretty extreme example, but it's the same sort of thing, right? There's a lot of stuff that you can get away with in Australia where you might not be punished as hard or at all, just because it's not the elite skill level that you experience in Europe, in North America. Yep. So it's a really good experience then to be able to get over here and play against these teams early. And the fact they highlighted Australis, MIBR, it's not really concerning. You pretty much expect to get destroyed by them, but they're the only teams they highlighted. So they probably had some pretty good, even if the results didn't go as well for them in scrims, that means they at least had really helpful and useful practice.
It also comes back to the point here where they're going in quite humble and they're going in with expectations maybe quite low, so they're just playing their game. And I think yesterday we saw the best of the Order Army, because 16-14 against Na'Vi is a great score. They held control for a lot of that map. They held control for a lot of that game. And looking forward to today, I think this is a very different team. I think against Ghost, those expectations should still be low so they can play that same game and maybe create that upset moving forward.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's no pressure on these guys at all, right? Coming into this, I think against Ghost they do have a good chance, and there's a little bit of bias in that being Australian, but I think they do have a good shot, but I'm not going to say it's going to be easy for them, but they shouldn't be thinking that either. They've just got to come into this thinking, right, elimination game, what have we got to lose? The answer's nothing. You've got to go for it. You've got to give it. And
everything and nothing.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that I found interesting as well is that Emag was saying, we know that we can't outskill them, fair statement, and we try to compensate for that with strategy. But there was a lot of rounds that were just one player going completely huge.
He talks about the aim battles in that interview as well, and it didn't even, I don't even think it came down to the two plays he mentioned anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah, Simple, had an alright game, but it was Electronic who really shut them down yesterday afternoon. But there was still a lot of highlights from individual players on Order. It was Zeph dancing through smokes under Palace. It was Hats that round where he managed to sneak into ladder room. It was Inns getting an ace on the B bomb side entry. There still was. Well, I mean, I could just go on and just run off clips all day if you really want, just everyone. But there still was a bit of that firepower as well, which is good. It means they're not just going, yeah, the aim's not great, we'll work on strategy. They've got both elements working for them decently well. Yeah,
they played their style yesterday, and I think Order walking forward into this matchup, they're going to have to do the same thing again against Ghost. I mean, their track record is there, number 26 in the world right now, if you look at the standings and if you want to be statistical about it. But moving forward into this matchup, this is going to be an interesting one because it's kind of going to pivot where Ghost is sitting at the moment, whether they're still in contention position or in this lower bracket if this is going to be their last run. The best of 3 format comes back in, and I feel like this is where maybe Order are going to struggle. You cannot get away with just that one map or even getting so close to clench it away. You need all 2 maps or all 3 if it goes the distance.
You certainly do. And the other thing, you know, I said before for Ghost that, of course, Steele said, hey, we'll be happy if we lose, but we play well. Problem is, my only issue with that statement is that Ghost were #1 in the North American League, or Pro League in league play for up until about halfway through the season. Then MIBR were like, oh, wait, we have a bunch of games to catch up on. Now we're winning. Yep, soz mate. But up until that point, Ghosts weren't #1 in the league, and they finished #2. So they had a really strong showing in the online portion of ESL Pro League this season. So I think, as much as Steele said, yeah, we'll be happy if we lose, but play well, I think they do want to make it further than, you know, immediately going out in the lower bracket, given that they finished 2nd online. Yeah, to Order especially.
So we've talked so much about expectations and going forward. Against Order, it could be a very different story. We are about to jump into map vetoes and jump straight into our first matchup here. 2 best of 3s tonight. Ghost and Order kick us off to start things. And I'm curious at the vetoes here, Tim, because it looks a bit more cut and dry than our other matchups. There's a couple of maps here for Order that we don't want to see fall through, and same for Ghost.
These are some interesting bans, though, because both of these teams perma-ban Overpass pretty much all the time. It's just always they get rid of Overpass immediately. Neither of them have banned it, which I guess that's fair enough, because there's only 2 ways that can go. 1, your opponent has been pracking the hell out of Overpass and they're going to try and pull it out and surprise you. Or 2, you can use your ban on something that's more targeted to try and get rid of a map that your opponent likes or that you think they will like, because you know that they're not going to pick Overpass, you're not going to pick Overpass. It's actually pretty safe to leave that until the 2nd ban phase. I'll be very surprised if Overpass is map 3, but I think that's a pretty safe move. It's not quite what I expected, but it'll work well. So Keish and Train first up. Keish is a pretty good map for Order. Ghost, despite getting smacked 16-5 on it yesterday, are a good Train team. So the other 2 bans, Overpass will be one of them. I'm guessing we're going to end up on...
Well, let's see, because I mean,
like an Inferno or something, probably.
I'm surprised at the pick from Keish there. You know, if you want to break things down, maybe Inferno would have been a better one to start in from Order, especially in their track record. But it's going to be the Mirage and Overpass. Inferno's going to be the finisher. I have high hopes if we see Order make it to map 3. I think if they go well on Keish and Train ends up being what it should be for a team like Ghost, then maybe Inferno won't look half bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it should be pretty good. It's a good map for both teams. Statistically, it's the one they've played the most of in the last 3 months. I mean, those bans, it's not the order I expected them in, but it's pretty much what I expected gone. Ghost, they don't play Nuke. They've only played it 4 times. They've won it 1 out of those times. And Order are pretty decent at Nuke. I mean, there's always that skill gap of, yes, they play in Australia versus North America, but if you're not a confident Nuke team and you know that your opponent are statistically good at it, that's probably where you stop it. You're just like, right, we don't want to give them Nuke. That Mirage ban from Order is just... Yeah, look, we lost against Na'Vi yesterday. Ghost are also decent at it. We'll get it out of the way. So
I would, after yesterday, I would have been like, let's just try Mirage again, see what happens. But you know, that's fair enough. I think maybe we're expecting a bit of fireworks in the first game. But if Keish doesn't look too successful for Order, then maybe we go to Train and we say, well, it could just be a 2-0 for Ghost. So everything on this first map, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, Order haven't played that much Train recently, and it's not a map we see too much out of them, but a lot of the players on this lineup have been on other teams that have played a lot of Train. Chiefs notably had Ali and Inns on it going back. I mean, this is like a year or so ago, but
this was
still,
yonks ago.
Yonks ago. There's a nice Australian term that nobody will understand. But
oh, they will.
Sure, yonks is a unit of time, roughly equivalent to a bit.
Tim, you don't have to calculate it, man. Just use it.
I'm going with it. We're rolling through, Jake. But I think this is going to be quite a good one. I do think that Keish has to be successful here for Order, just to keep themselves in this series. As Train, while they're decent at it, I think Ghost should be pretty comfortable on that map, certainly. And then moving into Inferno, it's a map that both teams are good at. So I think this is going to be quite a good series, quite an exciting one. I really don't want to predict it too much one way or the other until we see how it goes. I think, really, it depends on Order. This should be a 3-map series because Order should be able to win Cache. I'm expecting Ghost to win Train. And then Inferno, we'll see how I'm feeling when we get there. But, I mean, we'll have to find out. Unfortunately, we're about to do that.
Well, I hope for Order's sake that they can make an impact in map 1, but realistically, we just want to see all 3. Ghost and Order, they take to Cache to start us off. That's right, Cache. And I think Order have got a lot of expectations after yesterday's performance against Na'Vi, and there'll be some extra pair of eyes watching around the world saying this could be a team to look out for.
Certainly could. We saw a bit of it yesterday. There was some interesting tweets happening of people seeing some, or having some faith in Order, but it's going to be the B split here coming in for Ghost. Quickly in through vents. They've already found the first frag. Zeph will be able to trade it back, and Hats is waiting under the vent for the drop.
Yeah, entry on site might come pretty soon as well, but Hat's still sitting in the side. They haven't found him. Hats drops down. There's the third. That's enough for Order to maintain this round. Imagine with 1 tap. And boy, oh boy, that's the start for Order that got off well to Na'Vi.
Their pistol was very, very good yesterday. I mean, it's only 1 round. I don't want to get too excited just yet,
I do,
but nonetheless,
Tim,
it was
you know
I
what?
know you do, Jake.
Even if I'm let down.
I'm very happy to let you do it, Jake. I don't want to be heartbroken again, man. Like, I was really believing towards the end of that Mirage game yesterday, and it was, it hurt a bit. It stung. But nonetheless, Order will start off the right way against Ghost. Steel goes for the 2 flashes and a smoke here. Single P250 out on Kusta. This is just your basic. We're going to throw a simple execute into the A bomb site. Try and get the bomb down for the cache. Maybe a couple kills, not the likeliest thing in the world, but Steel inside A main will set up 2 flashes and a smoke to help his team out. The nade will do a bit of damage, and it's just down to the SMGs of Order now to stop this bomb plant.
Alistair's going to get the information first, but a utility out. That'll be the smoke. Over behind Forklift. Alistair waiting for the flash. Pretty standard util. Zeph gets the entry, and the push through does come in eventually. MP9 down. Zeph gets the spray over to the side. Bit of utility used to get them a couple of kills in the end, but Zeph cleans it up at the back end with a 3K. 2 members drop guns, but Order will be okay from there. 2-0.
And the guns that were dropped were just the SMGs, so it means that all of the more expensive guns will stay up. Hats and EMAG will hold on to their M4s. Ali's got enough money to go for the AWP immediately, but won't choose to pick that one up instead, prioritizing utility and armor. In's unfortunately limited to a FAMAS, but for Ghost, that is the pistol rounds out of the way. They're going to go straight into the AKs and util here. Only Steel with the 4 grenades, but everyone else with 2 flashes and a smoke. It's enough for an execute. Let's see where they're putting this utility. Going for a mid-take very early on, and Wardell can't quite catch out Ali, but does have the info, and Ali's going to have to fall back to A to get the help from his teammates.
So aggressive on this mid-push, Tim. And a bit of control onto Highway to push down as well, but Wardell has other ideas. Where do they go from here? They've taken full control of mid, and Order have just backed away. They don't want to borrow it.
At the moment, Ghost, they've got full control of mid. They haven't committed anywhere. They're going for the vent drop there, but EMAG's waiting for it. This is almost the same strat they ran on pistol, and they've been caught out by the same thing, but bomb doesn't commit. And now Ghost have a chance to reposition. They do look like they want to head over towards B here with the positioning of Sub Rose up. Kus is making sure they won't get flanked from Highway, but the molly from EMAG will delay a bit. That actually might even force Ghost to reconsider this entirely.
Imagine that spot just pesty as always. Well, as always, we've been 3 rounds in, folks. Sub Rosa slowly pushing up, looking there, but Hats has already moved, or it was Imagine before. At least Order have moved entirely. Imagine drops down to side of Neptune, and this will enable Ghost to push into the B bomb site, but the rotations come pretty quick. Kusta gets the Highway man. Alistair just walks to his death as well, and oh no is right there, Tim. Order have just sacrificed a couple of quick kills, and now left in a 2v4.
And they're not even committing to B here. They're choosing to hedge their bets. They're going back up through the vent, leaving Sub Rosa here alone to try and sell this one, but Inns, he hears it coming. Now he knows that the jig is up, but he has the opportunity for the first kill. Won't hit it. Does drop the bomb, but it's going to be so difficult to hold on to this one.
1 person left. On the other side, Hats must have been caught out by Sub Rosa. And Inns is just left on Highway, but 1 person rotating through mid. And that'll be Sub Rosa again. Inns going to try for the retake here himself. No condition of saving whatsoever. Kusta behind Fork. Peak not going to be there. Inns doesn't have too much time to play with as well. Does have a kit. Question is, does he have a clue? Inns looking up. Oh, and that's not the right direction. So first round on the board for Ghost Gaming.
And that round really all falls apart for Order, just with how close Kusta was able to get up in mid and just sit there and wait for that rotation to happen. He strikes perfectly. Once his teammates have made the entry into the B bomb site, they know that all of Order are immediately reconsidering that one and getting on that rotation. Gives him time to strike up Highway, get the player in Z. And leaves the rest of Order with not really too much to do. They went for it, but gets nothing done. And for Ghost, that's the sort of clean tactical play we expect from them. Putting a lot of presence everywhere on the map early, hedging their bets, not committing to any bomb site until they know exactly what they want to do. Emag trying to get aggressive down mid. Will be caught out by Wardell fast over the boost. The rest of the pistols are here too. And it's already looking like not too much will be accomplished in this round with this pistol buy.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have the same impact Ghost did. But still, you're not looking at this round very seriously. Order will just have to work towards that next one. Not even able to get some damage off with that Deagle. In that interview, we're looking at Steel and, you know, the mentality going through to this. I think Order, I set up the interview with Imagine with, you know, maybe there's a similar mentality, but I think the mentality from Order, especially going into this series, would be, right, we can do this, but we're still the underdogs. And Ghost just going in this to learn. So there's two different weights on this game. And I think it'll be interesting to see if we do go to that map 3, how that playstyle might change due to that mentality that we were talking about before.
Order here going to go for the double save. Getting a couple grenades out. Emag going to invest into the CZ75, but no more than that purchased. Should be quite a light, well, when I say quite a light one, quite an easy round. More likely for Ghost. And they're just going for a 4-player push into the B bomb site. It's going to be a slow one, but all of Order are choosing to fight mid and A instead. The stack not working out for them at all, unfortunately. Ghost have gone completely the other way. And while Inz is here, smoke down, there's nothing he can do unless he gets some incredibly lucky dinks through this smoke. I'm not liking his odds. This should just be a really easy one to clean up for Ghost. Order might as well throw themselves into this. It's only Emag who spent any money outside of the HE grenades.
Yeah.
So they might as well go for this, try and take some guns away from Ghost, keep their money honest, but this won't be a round that they're winning, and instead they're going to fall back and play for exit frags.
Even if they can walk away with 1 AK at the end of this round, be as much impact as they want in round number 5.
Bait and switch is set up and useless, but no one's going to walk into it. Unfortunately for Order, they laid the traps, but no one from Ghost is willing to give up their rifles, which is a good play for the T side. They need to hold on to these ones. Not so much for their own economy, but just because they don't want Order to get away with any of the AKs, which they won't be able to do. The remaining few players will sacrifice themselves trying it, but despite a lot of damage, no one gets anything done. Order lose the round without getting a single frag. Ghost will be very happy with that. Their money really starting to swell out of control now. Everyone above $6,000. And for the Aussies on the CT side, it will be a tactical timeout called as they figure out exactly what they want to do with this buy.
Yeah, do this now before we go into what is essentially going to be one of their most crucial rounds moving forward. Lack of momentum, talked about it yesterday. It feels like it's my key word so far. But pacing going forward in this series. Order need to make sure they're in their good headspace. And yesterday, I keep repeating it, against Na'Vi, they had that headspace, they moved forward, there was that lack of momentum, there was a bit of a pause that struck them down. And from then on, they just slowed. And there are a couple of issues that arose after that. So, of course, a very different game against Ghost. We'll see now with a full buy across the board. Alistair, he's got his infamous AWP. It's like as if no one else uses an AWP in this game, Tim. At this point, that will be true. 5 AKs on the side of Ghost Gaming. And the push towards B, but you can see the hold here from Order. And this might actually work out well. Alistair sitting up in heaven.
Wardell is the player we're looking to AWP if Ghost do pick one up, but for now they're choosing to work with the rifles, and Emag, a very difficult situation, but he's able to work out with it and manage to go 1 for 1. Better than nothing. Hats though, lots of util coming his way.
Smokes down, that'll stop half the damage, but he's so low, jumps into headshot, will get the flash down as well. Good teamwork here from Order, but on back of sight, it eluded him, and Alistair's stuck by himself for now. Reinforcements from Inz and Zeph, but it needs to come quick. Alistair finds a shot, and maybe not. He's sitting back up in heaven. The molly goes through, but Wardell can't move to sight. Bomb is now getting planted, but a 2 versus 3 Order has somehow managed to recover this round.
There is still a bit of utility left on the Ghost, guys, and not much for Order, but Zeph has the smoke and the molly they can use to get their way in. And here is that basic bit of util thrown out. Steel's got a flashbang. He's trying to make some space, but Wardell's fallen. It's all left up to Steel. The IGL, the veteran, trying to find a 1v3 against the Aussies, and Alistair will be the one to close it.
Oh, that molly, Tim. That was perfect. He had to peek out in the end, but he was going to burn anyway. So Order picked their pace back up. And momentum ain't a lie. That's what I'm going to add to the mix. Alistair on the AWP. Boy, oh boy, did we say something yesterday, and do we agree with it today?
That's very open-ended, and therefore I can say confidently that yes, we did,
Yes,
and yes, we do.
Yeah.
We did say things, and we do agree with them. What do we say? Do we know things? Let's find out. Either way.
Nice.
Order will be able to get the buy happening here. Ali does have an AWP down, I promise. There it is. Picks that one back up. Ghost, though, straight back into the buy. They do have an awful lot of money, as mentioned. They're going for lots of utility, lots of AK. Still not choosing to get that AWP out. Instead, running the 5 rifles. And while we do see a lot of that from them, certainly Wardell is very capable with the AWP. But speaking of AWPs,
He's just pushed through once again. There's a trade here from Hats with the M4. He needed that kill as a response. Still gets EMAG there in vents. And onto the B bomb side. It has been penetrated. Ins and Zeph gonna have to push back in.
HP is so low, though. Steel and Sub Rosa, while they've got themselves the B bomb site, Zeph knows. He knows that they're tagged. He's holding this grenade out, and as soon as he hears the beep of that bomb plant, he's going to throw that in, try and catch out one of these players. But unfortunately for Order, the longer that Ghost wait here without making any sound, the more that Order will have to consider this rotation. You can already see it in Ins getting ready to float over to that A bomb site if they don't hear anything on B anymore. So the mind games from Ghost as they sit here will eventually split Order up, but that HP disadvantage is still going to be a problem for them. There is 3 damaging nades on this Ghost side. There's the grenade. They haven't, still you're right. And they've got Molotovs and grenades to work with. The flashbang is there, but Ins won't fall for it. And this is going to be a very difficult round indeed. They see the gun drop. They know that Sub Rosa now has the AWP. There's the nade I was talking about. That's what Zeph was waiting for.
You were damn right. Order read it like a book, and Sub Rosa's left to pick up the pieces. Remember, he's low as well. There's a bit of utility in the form of the molly. Flashes and smokes. Sub Rosa going close quarters here with the AWP, but Order are just doing the do-si-do, as the general manager would like to say. The peek out there in the shoulder, and Sub Rosa doesn't even find that. Molly's continue to go back on site with flash as well. And Sub Rosa's just caught in the middle. He's going, which way am I going to look? He's now going to attempt to plant the bomb with 10 seconds left remaining. Zeph, Ins both pushing in. Sub has to play close, but he doesn't find it. Headshot easy there for Zeph, and the defuse comes through. Order back on top.
Very well played there by Order in that 2v2. Great composure to not even move. They did have 2 Molotovs and that HE grenade as well that granted Zeph the kill on the bomb planter. So they had plenty of util knowing, or that would be very effective knowing how low that Ghost were. But I really do like the composure there to not gamble for the 2-on-1, because when you're facing off 2 Ts that low, when you have full HP and grenades, sure, you can send 1 to each bomb site, which gives you a much better chance of denying the bomb plant early, but it also means that if one of those Ts hits a 1-tap on the entry, it's a 1v2, and that's quite difficult. So instead, Order, they play it together. Had the rotation gone over to A for Ghost, they would have gone over together and tried to guarantee themselves a 2v2 and not a 1v2 or anything like that. But nonetheless, they keep those 2 guns alive. They get the kills needed and get themselves into the lead once again.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Order played that round pretty much perfectly from the situation it was left in. And now left to pick up the pieces of Ghost Gaming's economy after this round. Maybe we start questioning how things will go for Ghost in terms of momentum once again. For Order, they've taken the lead, but can they hold it? M4's in the back of everyone's hands. Ends with an AK, and there's a quick flash onto sight onto Alistair, but no one following that one up. And a bit of utility left on both teams here, but Order starting to run out.
That's the thing. That single flashbang draws out 4 grenades now from Order. 2 Molotovs, a flash, and a smoke. They will be pushing into this A bomb site here very quickly. Zeph's going to try and go through the smoke with the flashbang to help. He's actually found his way past it. He's found the timing, but Wardell hits a no-scope.
Unfortunately, it's like getting hit with the fridge at 6 o'clock in the morning. Alistair sitting in the back of sight. The AWP won't save him now. Still enters, and this is going to enable the bomb plan. But however, that's still back in spawn. So the push coming through highway, Order think it's going to come eventually.
This is a really weird situation for Ghost to be in now. They've got to go back and get that bomb, and instead, I think they've just chosen to fight this one. They're just like, yeah, why not? We'll try and take it out. It leaves EMAG in the 1 versus 2, and a difficult one at that.
And we're still waiting for that bomb plant. 25 seconds to go. EMAG doesn't know what the heck is going on. He peeks out very ambitiously. So again, remember, that is an AWP in both hands. He gets the peek. EMAG goes through before the flash comes out, and Wardell doesn't know what's going on. We're back over to the B bomb site now, though. The 1v1, still similar position.
EMAG only just figures out now that
he's got balls, Tim.
That was very risky, though, from Ghost with the bomb there that late, but now Steele's had a chance to set himself up in a post plant. He is very deep inside B main, and while it's going to take him a bit of a push to get forwards towards that bomb, he's actually thinking that EMAG's going to flank him. He should hear him in a second here and have a good idea of where he is, but EMAG,
trying to make
unfortunately, with no kit, won't be able to just jump on this and stick it. He's got to find this frag.
Well, he will eventually find him. And find him he does. So E-Mag can't get the kill as a trade, or at least take the AWP away. Goes back to 4. Up to 4 is English. Oh, hello.
That's cool. Not sure I've seen this before.
Hats is popping.
He's doing all right. He's having a decent game.
103 ADR by 9 rounds, Tim. I think that's all right, isn't it?
It's doing pretty good.
It's doing pretty good, all right.
Unfortunately for Order, they will be left on the pistols here. But look, 100 ADR in 8 rounds is nothing to poke a stick at.
I hate CT.
It's better than a poke in the eye with a blunt stick.
That's right.
How many Australianisms can we drop in here until
I
we
don't
baffle
know.
people?
Fair shake of the sauce bottle, mate.
But where does it go? No.
But where does it go?
Not doing that. Not doing that.
Sauce goes in the cupboard. I don't care if you open it. I don't care what they say. Hey, hats. Okay.
At HystericsCasts on Twitter. If
Yeah,
you disagree.
look. I would.
Either way, this is just the pistols that Order are trying to make something with. Should just be a nice clean mop up for Ghosts, or Ghost even, and so far it is. And it continues to be. Just Zeph left now, and nothing. It's Wardell with a nice couple quick kills on the AWP, getting some warm-up happening. It's pretty good, you know, he hasn't had an AWP that much so far this matchup. Does get 1 care of steel, dropping it over, but if you're going to have your AWP warming up in an official in any capacity, it's nice that he can get a few quick, easy kills against pistols. No real danger to himself, but has a chance to get the aim going as this round
He needed
could be
to
going
warm up
against
last
Dubai.
round. Yeah. Like last round, you'd say that was a good warm-up round, but the round before, maybe not so much. Here we go. 149. No, he does it 150. Okay. I always thought 149 was still the go.
I mean, it's somewhere around there. Like,
you do it at 140. You know, who cares?
I mean,
do it 10 seconds later.
It depends on the exact spawn, because obviously it's like slight shifts. 149 is like the best average time, but 150 will hit a front spawn. It's you know, it's one of those things that's just a Hail Mary, you know? You go for it.
Yeah.
You do your best. You give it a red hot go.
Wardell getting boosted up on truck by spawn there. Almost gets the peek out as the jump through towards mid. Order survive. The UMP on hats is the only bit of a downgrade.
Ooh, counter boost.
The rest of the guns, and yeah, into Alistair. Gonna make the way over.
They're not watching it anymore either. There's actually a really big sweet spot they can hit here where everyone has utility out. Ali should go as soon as he sees these grenades come over, and he will. There's the first player. Will not be able to get the second, but gets back safely and hasn't given up boost yet either. Very powerful position to him to hold, and that means that Ghosts are now burning time that their utility has bought them.
Speaking of burning, Alistair, get the heck out of the molly. Thought he peeked his way back, but with all that damage, Kusa just walks in and gets the trade-off kill. So it was good for Alistair at the start, but they're left with a 3v4.
Damn.
Peeking out, make that a 2v4. Still, headshot's perfect on the AK, but Imagine says it ain't so. Hat's trying to push through truck, and at the moment left with that 1v3. But they're on a bomb site, and Hat's going to have to play something miraculous here, or just look to take away one of the M4s.
At the moment, his current play is to grab an M4 from Highway. That's much better than a UMP to go for this one, but despite 2 players being low, instead he's going to choose to save. Knows there's an AK he can grab from the back of Boost here as well, so potential upgrade path for him in terms of the weaponry, but not fancying his chances in the 1v1. His team do have no money, so maybe the M4 can be the difference maker in the next round. For now, though, just going to be holding on to this one. No one from Ghost will be keen to hunt. Sub Rosa and Wardell will have to, you know, get the running boots on, tie up the laces, get a move on, get away from that bomb before it goes off, as they are quite low. Don't want to drop their own guns unnecessarily, but I don't think they're going to get quite close enough for Hats to be able to do anything here. Unfortunately not. They're all over him, and Hats can hear that, but can't go for this peak confidently. That said, though, he'll keep his M4 up. And Ghost will stay alive with their guns as well.
We're back to another bit of a stagnant round, we'll call it, for Order. So still looking towards that recovery. And after this eco, Tim, or at least the Hero M4, as no one calls it, we'll see.
That's the thing. We talk about Hero guns.
We talk about Hero AKs. You know, Hero M4, not so much.
Hero Jakes.
Yeah.
You're a hero to me.
You know, thank you. I appreciate that. After this round, Tim, I'm expecting a pause from Order.
I reckon, right about that one.
I reckon you sit down, well,
have a cup of tea.
or stand up. Yep. Do what I did. I poured myself a beautiful bit of peach and pineapple tea.
Peach and pineapple?
Which I offer to all production members here. You know, just because I'm a self-proclaimed nice guy.
There goes the gun. Hats was trying to find the lucky timing through the smoke, because he does have the gun there. He's got the playmaking ability, but unfortunately gets shut down immediately. E-Mag.
Why not?
Not sure where that bullet came from, but the trades come in thick and fast. And while Alistair's found a nice bit of positioning here, Neptune's waiting for that. Grabs the bomb, goes back, puts the bullet in just to keep Ali at bay. And ends alone on the B-bomb site with a P250. I'm not sure I like his chances.
No, but he's got to disrupt the flow somehow. Utility's all the way in. Oh, so close, ins. The second eludes. Left in a 1v3. Disruption might not work out too well for Ghost Gaming. Plenty of money on the board. And Alistair hasn't managed to pick up a gun, so he's left coming out of mid wondering. All right. We've seen 1v3 with Glocks. P250, very different story with head armor.
That was such a ridiculous round.
That was order, wasn't it? Was that order?
No,
it was on train.
That was big. It was Tizian.
That was big,
getting against Ince. So it won't be happening here, but Ali, look, he's saving $300. You know, he's a thrifty man. He's holding on to his dollars.
Mate, $300 is a lot of money.
No, it's not. Not when you get shot in the head.
Never mind.
Disregard. All right, let's see if they do that pause that you mentioned. Well,
man,
you go.
I'm getting all right at this, aren't I, Tim?
Dude, you're nailing it.
Dude.
Nailing
Not too bad. Like I was saying before, Order, they've slipped away in the past couple of rounds, and Ghosts have really started pushing through. The pistol round at the start was just kind of a bit of a taste of what Order have been showing us so far in the ESL Pro League.
It was a crispy, clean pistol. I'll give them that. It was very well played. They've certainly got the aim, these guys.
Well, they got crispy, clean play. That's what we've seen against Na'Vi yesterday. Even in the gun rounds, even in the 1v1 duels. Order were coming out ahead yesterday. And the play style against Ghost, well, it's very different. It looks a lot more coordinated from Ghost, where Na'Vi, they were confident walking forward. Ghost feel like they're reserved and are happy to play on their terms rather than rush their opponent.
Exactly that. Like, it's reserved, but it's still very well organized from Ghost. They have a game plan pretty much every single round. They know what they want to do. And under the guidance of Steel, they are a really tactical team. They've got their strategies. They've got their set plays. Look at all the utility they're throwing here. It's all perfectly coordinated from practice. And it's going to be a very fast hit into A.
Behind Fork, Sub-Rosa just walks out, finds two, onto the B-bomb site. Sorry, the A-bomb site. Oh boy, it doesn't look too good whatsoever.
It's a brutal change of pace that Order were not at all ready for.
As we were saying,
like, transitioning out from Highway.
They play at their pace, you know, and that time they wanted to go fast.
It worked out perfectly. That was just a very well done A-rush strat. Shot goes begging for Ali. Now the race begins to save his AWP. But
pickle that one.
They had all the grenades ready to go. They knew exactly what they were doing. Those two players on the entry, really the one player was just Sub-Rosa, but he knew exactly where he was supposed to go. Knew that he'd have cover if he did it. He got out there and found the opening 3 kills in stunning fashion. That puts Ghost now on 8-4. This game has felt like it's been close, but Ghost starting to run away with things now. That's Order's money in the bin once again. And I do like Ghost on their T side. They're really fun to watch play. They've got a pretty clear plan in every single round. They execute it well. They have really good mid-round decision-making, like we saw in the rounds where they tried to drop into B, they lost a player. They reposition back with their mid-control, go back into B, but with that player left around, I think it was Kusta, they left around the Z connector, able to get the backstab and the lurk timing perfectly. It's looking good so far for them on their T side, and they're looking to continue it to 9 here as it's just the pistols for Order.
It feels like Order have only won 2 gun rounds in this game so far, or even 1 to call it that. So when Order do get a buy through, they're not having a successful time.
Yeah, it has been 2.
They're always walking back to these eco. That's what we're stuck with again.
Yeah, it was the pistol, the anti-eco, then a couple gun rounds scattered throughout, but Ghost have by far had the better side of things once they got the guns in hand. Looks like it's going to continue here as it's not a great looking buy for Order. No utility, little armor. Couple upgraded pistols is all that stands between Ghost and putting their 9th on the board. They've already won the half, but looking to go further. Ali moves just a fraction too far and gets his head taken off. Now the entry's starting to come in. Ghost are hitting shots right now, looking a lot more comfortable here on their T side of Cache. This is not the greatest of signs now for the Order guys. This is their map pick. They're heading into Train, which is a map that they can play, but I am a little bit concerned for them now, and I'm very impressed by the standard that Ghost is setting.
I was about to say that, yeah, this is Order's map. You know, this is where we wanted to see the best of Order. In a couple of early rounds, things were looking pristine. It's all dropped off. And if another gun round goes astray for Order, then Cache might just be put in the bin, hoping for a dominant performance from them on Train. But even that might be a bit too much to ask. But can't dismiss them before they've begun. 9 rounds over to Ghost. Bomb goes kaboom. And that was anticlimactic. Didn't even see the dust.
Oh, well. You don't always need it.
I preferred Dust 1 to Dust 2, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah. I was a Dust 1 guy. Dust 2, I reckon, is an extensive downgrade from Dust 1. What do you think?
I mean, I prefer 2.
I mean, Dust 1 was a smaller map as well.
I mean, yeah, it was. But hey, that's a discussion we can save for a later date, because I would actually be quite interested to get into that one. In the meantime, though, what we had to get back into is the game. Hats on that secondary AWP. The double AWP coming out. I was going to mention this a few rounds back. It's something that Order do get a decent amount of success from. Hats, though, gets forced out by that molly. Goes for a quick pick. Won't hit it, but will be able to fall out. That's it. A lot of util coming in. He's going to be left entirely isolated here. He's trying to find his way through a smoke, but Koos is there. And this is going to be a very difficult round now for Order. Emag somehow still alive on the box in the side. They don't know he's there.
Oh, they do now. And Emag eventually goes down. Alistair sitting up here in heaven. He's been the saving grace for Order so far. He finds the first pick for them. Molly's out onto site, and they just need another one to even things out. Order have been overrun. Alistair sitting here in heaven. They do know he's here. Playing ever so cautiously. Bomb's going to go down. Flash is there too. Followed up by a second. Alistair can't get the flick down. Kusa gets ins. In this round, once again, falling by the wayside for Order. A retake in a 4v2 doesn't look possible. They are retreating, and so they should. Ghost Gaming hit every shot on the entry there, and they made it look clean. 10-4 this round will make it, and Order will only just carry 2 guns through.
It's going to be 10 now for Ghost on the board.
Do you think it is Order not playing as well as they did yesterday against Na'Vi, or do you think it is Ghost Gaming or a caliber that, or at least a different playstyle that Order can't handle at the moment?
I think I'd get crucified if I even tried to imply that Ghost are better than Na'Vi, and that's not true. I mean, I can't with any good conscience back that up, but Ghost are playing a really organized style right now. I think that's the thing for them. When they make the decision, when they decide what play they want to go with, they're committing to it and they're doing it together. So whether it's the A rush, whether it's the slow B, whether it's mid control, there's no messing around once they know what they're doing. All of the grenades are thrown, everyone's on their preset entry paths, clearing everything out, and Order are getting caught with their pants down a little bit. Like in that round, they did have 3 players ready for B, and all of them were overwhelmed. Hats was stuck in a smoke, Emag was trying to dance on the bomb site, got overrun, Ali got shot out of heaven as well. Well, not Ali, whoever was in heaven got shot out. So Ghosts do just look really organized. Their decision-making is... I mean, I can't really critique their decision-making so much because I'm outside of their comms, not in them, but I will say that when they make decisions, they do stick with them.
Yeah, the decision-making, Tim, I think you're dead on there. It's been in the face of Order. They've been struggling to react. 2 members sitting on the B bomb site. Bomb right now just lurking in the good old patio, aka sunroom.
Patio, yeah.
Yep. It's good to be on a continent.
Good info gathered here by Order. Alistair clears out A main. Zeph still chilling up on Shroud Boost, can support him. Great flashbang into B main. That's much better from Order. We do need to see them taking a bit of the initiative here, getting in the face of Ghosts and not letting them run all over them, executing their game plan as they wish. You need to put a bit of pressure on a team like this, just to let them know that they can't just do whatever they want. It is still going to be the hit into B here eventually for Ghosts, but before they do that, they're going to let Neptune and Ryan make some space on A. Here comes the execute, though. The nades raining in from Ghost, and the hit will be here for the last round of the half.
Smoke's about to expire as well. They push out. They haven't seen Hats here. 2 quick kills there from Order. Make it a 3rd. Neptune will get the lurk onto the A bomb site, but the bomb is down. Order know this. They have all the information in the world. They're left in a 3v1, and the recovery round for Order looks like it's a go.
The young gun here, Neptune, trying to find something out, but Ali hears him chilling in CT spawn. It's the easiest shot of his life. And he will close that one out to get a 5th round on the board for Order. The change there was a little bit late. They do only in the 15th round decide to go for these aggressive plays. The pop flashes in to take... well, in first, they take A main control with Ali going by himself. A confidence play with the AWP. They pop flash into B main after they know that A main's empty. It's good. It's well done, but it was a little bit too late, I think. I mean, sure, they won the round. I'm not criticizing them at all for that, but... it's one of those things where, had they tried that a little bit earlier, then maybe they could have caught Ghost out. It did feel like a lot of those rounds, they just let Ghost get away with their own game plan a little bit too much. But still 5 rounds in the end. That said, that's enough, I think, hyping Order up for now, because Ghost, they get 10 on their T side of Order's map pick. That's an incredibly good start for them. And what's more, when your opponent picks the map, you pick the side. Ghost chose to start on the T side there. And I remember reading, I can't remember if I read or heard an interview with Steele, it was one or the other, but he was saying there's only, I think, 2 maps in the pool that he would prefer to start on CT side. One of those was Nuke, and the other one was, I think, Inferno, but don't quote me on that. It was Nuke and something else. Definitely but every other map, as opposed to a lot of other teams who will generally start on the CT side just to get that economy going and give themselves a bunch of rounds to play with, he pretty much always prefers to start T so they can dictate the flow of his game, use their own game plan, and now they're heading into the CT side of the map with a 5-round lead.
And they've done exactly that on the T side. Look, dominant here for Ghost Gaming. We'll see what Order have to say if it was just the T side on this day. But Ghost Gaming with that 5-game gap. Sorry, round getting there. Who uses the P2000 though? That's a real question.
Me.
Well, telling you it's garbage, Tim. A couple of bits of damage here onto Kusta. And there's the opening frag. This might look okay, but Order haven't dealt with Wardell here on the site. Emag and Neptune trade blows, but in the end of the day, it was Neptune who cleans things up there over before it begun for Order.
It's a great round from Ghost coming out. That pistol round, very sharp from them. So both CT sides win their pistols. Well played by both, but Ghost put themselves on 11-5. I was going to say there that Order were definitely a T-sided team yesterday. They won 10 rounds on the T side of Mirage and just 4 on their CT side. But having lost the pistol, when you're already down by 5, there's only so many rounds that you really have to play with before you get things going. This round, just Glock, single smoke and flash. It's a bomb plant strat at best. Going to throw one smoke in and a flash, try and get through it. Hopefully they can get the bomb down, get that extra bit of money.
Wardell.
But Wardell, he's found the timing. The grenade is huge for damage. They're not going to get anything out of this round. No bomb plant, nothing at all. It's just a cleanup for the SMGs. And that means now there's the spray through the smoke for Wardell once again. Ghost are going to take 12-5. Order got nothing from that. With the new loss bonus, they will be able to buy here. But this is their backs against the wall. If they lose this, Ghost are on 13, 3 away from taking out Order's map pick in a dominating fashion. So this gun round is very important for the T side.
Order need to bring back some semblance of what we saw yesterday. They looked like a top-tier team. They looked like a team that could challenge these big dogs. But at the moment, Ghost Gaming are looking clinical. And we'll see what happens here, because an AWP's been set up by Wardell on the B-bomb site, and the push is coming through quite fast, actually. Even smoke going down, but Wardell opens that frag. You saw before it was Inns there, or someone else from Order, who just couldn't find the target. But with Ghost, it's such a different story. Moving back into Sunroom, still gets Inns on the other side of the map, and it's almost over before it's begun again, Tim, here. 3 members left of Order, and the push has just slowed down. They can't get through Wardell. And they have a bit of utility left as well. Molly's out on both sides of Checkers. At least that might stop him, but rotation's already here. They know where Bomb is. Wardell before dying. Yeah, he gets another one.
Do indeed, which is a bit of a problem here for Order. They've lost 3 players, only managing to get 1 trade in return. It's a heavy stack on the B-bomb site for Ghost as well. So there's a rotation for Order on the cards potentially, but we're still hanging out at mid. He can fast rotate either into the B-bomb site through vents or over into A. And of course, they do still have Neptune over here, just jump spotting A main. He'll be able to get the info and fall out early, trigger that rotation from Steel. It'll be 2 players on each bomb side. Ghost playing this one very well indeed, and Order just had to try and pick up the pieces here.
But how can you do it at this point? 3 members still over towards B. Imagine going to try the slow push. Subrosa going to be the first person he sees, but just his tippy toes in vent, which still hasn't been broken. So hard to spot this one out. And Emag, his legs get spotted first. The push coming through from Kuster as well. Hats takes a bit of damage on entry. Subrosa comes back in through vents, and Hats tries to re-peek, but mollied out. And Checkers is a bit of a hot spot right now, but the drop down, Hats can't get the frag. Emag does get the bomb down for a bit of extra cash, but what's it going to mean in the end here, Tim, when Ghost Gaming pick up their 13th round?
That was a gun round that Ghost just destroyed with SMGs, or at least 1 SMG in hand. So well played. It's looking pretty difficult for Order now. Down 13-5, this game very quickly slipping away from them. Potentially the series as well. This was their map pick that Ghost are looking so comfortable on right now. Order going to go for their 3rd tactical timeout, and a good time for it as well, as they don't really have the money to force in. Zest's already done it, so it looks like they will invest in this. Try and keep Ghost a little bit honest, but the Canadians, I was going to say the North Americans, but this squad is majority Canadian, so I can call them that. Canadians are running away with this one. 13-5 on a map that was not their own pick. Heading into Train after this, and Inferno to follow. They did have a rough time against Mouse yesterday, but Ghost are not looking really too troubled by that result at all. Game plan is very well set out. They're executing it perfectly. And the aim is really there as well. That's another big thing for Ghost. Yep. They're all really hitting their shots. It's not looking too difficult for them. So let's see what they've got for us here. Bunch of utility out, bunch of rifles as well. The AWP on Wardell. It's not much of a change from what we've seen elsewhere. And Order, interesting decision here. They've gone for the investment. I thought they were actually going to go for 3 AKs, 2 pistols, so they could get 2 AKs next round and keep the pressure up. But instead, they're going for a full force here. This will give, if Ghost win this, gives them 14 and potentially 15 as well, as Order will have no money. Yeah, at this point, you're not having too much hope here for Order, Tim, that's right. Before we're talking about hitting shots and for Alistair before on the AWP, the comparison against Wardell, you just didn't see the same reaction, the same hits coming through, and it feels like there's a massive difference between Ghost and Order right now. As some people would expect coming through. Still's actually being caught out. Kusta gets the spray down though. Oh, the opener there for EMAG set things up nicely, but Kusta gets away with it. Oh my lord. Just not sure how it happened. Order, however, are still left with the 2v2, and they might be able to get the bomb plant down, but Zeph gets caught out before even dropping the bomb at A. And that leaves Inns now in a very difficult spot. With just the UMP in handy, we'll be able to retrieve steals M4A1, but the bomb down in the open, this is so well played by Ghost now. Just going for the pigs individually. Wardell will be the one to close what Kusta started with a brilliant spray down there from Fork. So quick as well. All 3 of those kills came in about a second and a half there. Manages to find the 3 headshots in roughly 6 bullets or so. Gets the job done, and now this is the nightmare for Order. Nightmare indeed. There's that spray coming through. That's so crisp from Kusta. That's what we like to see. He's a player who's used to be an AWP, transitioned into a rifling role now, and still has always been good at both of those, but shines here with the AK in hand, locking down quad. Order will get a force buy together, but it's not much better than the last round. In fact, it's worse. They've got 1 AK left. Wardell, who's been such a problem, lies in wait on the B bomb site. And he's not really missed too much with the AWP, this man. He will miss the first one. I jinxed it, but can hang around here and hits a bunch of damage, and there they come through the smoke. But where does the damage come from? I mean, everyone from Order entered the site just to get hit hard. Zeph chunked for a massive amount. He will get the response frag, but left up top, Steel has just been hitting away from heaven. Throws a molly in the back of sight. It's a good flash, but it means nothing. In sitting there as well, they force them down. Order still haven't got the plant down, though. In a 3v3, trying to get the spray through checkers. EMAG pulls all the way back, so half-decent post-plant positions here, but will it work out? Looks like without the post-plants are good, but the utility is not. They've already used all of it. They just had flashbangs, and here come Ghost on the entries. Neptune with the first, Kusta with the second. It's all on EMAG, and he'll get nothing done. Just like that, Ghost close out the 3v3 very easily indeed. They're going to make it 15-5. And for Order, this map has gone completely against them. The first 8 rounds were close, but ever since then, it's been all one-way traffic. Ghost playing incredibly well indeed, as this is not their map pick. We've said it before. Not saying this is a map they're bad at, but Order picked this one. This is what they wanted to play. Yep. And this is what's happened. They're going up against 15-5. They've managed to scrape another buy together. It is 5 AKs again, but only 1 round separates Ghost from the first win here in the best of 3, heading into their own map pick of train. I mean, Order, they're the car that's driving the wrong way in the one-way street, right? Eventually, no matter what, it's going to end in a crash. And I think in this first match, we've seen exactly what that looks like. Neptune going to push out to mid here, and it's dominant form from Ghost Gaming. Wardell gets ins on the A bomb site. He hasn't missed many shots here with this AWP. Even Zeph's going to push in to B. Does get sub Rose up. But then gets traded out by Steel. 2 members left in Order, and this looks like it's going to be a 16-5 on Order's map pick. Yesterday against Na'Vi, it looked so good. It looked like Order were the team that could be the dark horse moving forward in the ESL Pro League. But this first map, right here on Inferno, Keish, so sorry. It's not looking too good. Certainly isn't. It's hats left in a 1v4, and this one is all but unrecoverable for him now. The bomb down in a terrible position. They're already going for the counter boost, looking to get active, Ghost and close this one out. They have made a bit of noise, so now Hats knows it's a possibility, but there's so much he has to watch here in this 1 versus 4 situation. There's so little that he can do. Essentially, at this point, Order just have to hope that Hats can get some kills to maybe restore some honor for them, and then look forward to train, which is where we're heading next. Ghost with a 16-5, demolishing Order on their own map pick.
Yep.
Not the start the Aussies were looking for, but a great one from Ghost.
No, definitely not. And especially, you know, that in that weird-looking Inferno right there, man, you know, nothing was right. For Order, of course, their confidence moving forward isn't going to be too good after that. Their map pick was meant to be the star. It was meant to be the one that brings them to 3 if it did go to 3 games. And I think at this point you're going, well, Ghost Gaming, the way they look there on Train, how much more dominant are they going to be?
That's something we'll have to find out when we do get in there. But it's a really good return to form for them because just looking in the context of this event, right, 2 maps. They lost 16-5 against Mouse. They've immediately struck back, winning 16-5 against Order, which 2 different calibers of opponent, but it's still Ghost looking very composed. The aim was certainly there. They looked very sharp indeed, as these highlights will show. Order, they played really well the first couple rounds. They got some good rounds going, but after that, it was just Ghost. They had the tactics, they had the playbook ready. Everyone was hitting their shots. They all had some nice highlight rounds. And after this, I mean, 3-3. 4-7 at this point. Order have one more round. They're going to win this half. That was a great push into A as well.
Did you hear Steele actually apologise when he threw that grenade as well? So,
I didn't.
You know, very nicely done from Ghost Gaming. Obviously, Tim, you need to, you know, talk more about Canadians. So, I think with Ghost here, it's just looking too good. You know, even Wardell there, trading off before going down. And, of course, this spray from Kusta just ruin Order's entry. So at that point, you're going, well, what else can be done? And what can be done on Train is now the new question.
It is indeed, and I really enjoy watching Ghost there. As much as, you know, we're Australians, we want to see the Order boys do well. That was clinical from Ghost. That's the T side, really, and the organisation for them that we really want to see. They won 10 rounds on their CT side, and they were on their CT side even. No, T side. I was right the first time. Yep. And then they were flawless on CT side. There we go. That's what I was trying to get at. So they had an incredibly good game there on both halves. Everyone was hitting their shots. They looked really organised. It just looks, I think, composed is the word I'm going to use to sum up their entire game on Cage. They didn't look perturbed by anything that Order threw at them.
Because in that first round, in that pistol round, that was kind of the opportunity that we're like, all right, cool, Order are playing close. They want to play aggressively and stop these entries. And then we moved forward into the rest of the match, and it was like, well, where was that Order who were willing to take risks? EMAG still pushing out, but like, use the utility, man. We saw that pop flash. We're like, that's good. That's what EMAG should be doing. That's what Order should be trying to play around. And some of their style, you know, went up and down, and it's not a dig at them. It's just like we saw moments of bliss there and what Order could potentially do.
And even that pistol round, as much as it went really well from them, that was just Ghost running into where Order had chosen to stack. They managed to play the setup perfectly that Ghost ran into. And whether I haven't watched enough Ghost demos to know that that's a pistol strat they run frequently or not, it may well be that Order hard read them there and hard countered it, in which case, great. But it still wasn't something that we saw over the rest of the game. Instead, it was just Ghost, really. There was the last round on their T side where Order, as you said, they took the AWP control into A main, they pop flash into B main to get that opening frag, and that's what granted them their 5th round. But other than that, pretty much the other 14 round, Ghosts were free to do whatever they wanted in whatever time period they wanted.
Ghosts are going to have to move on to Train, but they're moving on with a pretty good mindset there. When Order dropped the first map, they're now going to have to recover here. Stay tuned, the ESL Pro League map number 2 between Order and Ghost coming up next.